thing, see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. So thought I was gonna be done making patch panels for this car, as I've done many patch panels on this thing already. That's all ready. That can be all welded up now. Actually, the rear and the filler panel can be welded too. That whole section I had to hand make there. So this piece here, I was banking on this piece being able to fix it. I just got this back from blasting and it ain't worth it. So yep. Damn it. Now I'm gonna have to hand make more crap. It's so much longer when you gotta make stuff. So much easier when you just pull it out of the box and weld it in. Well, I guess I'm done bitching on that. So, got some of my other pieces I needed back from blasting. This is the trunk lock support. That's gonna go right there. We have our spare tire mount. That's gonna go right up there, right up there. And these are the two brackets that kind of hold the weight of the tire. Actually, they just kind of rub right against the tire. Those also go up there. One's gonna go there, and one's gonna go there. So we just got all that crap back from blasting. Now I'm gonna have to make this from scratch. So, yep, that's where I'm at. And might as well get started on that. Alrighty, here we go. Well, it's dark 30. This piece right here was actually kind of a pain in the ass to make. Probably doesn't look like it, but it actually was a pain in the ass. So go ahead and burn that in. And then I got to do more. I got to make a backside piece to strengthen it. And then I'm going to try and salvage the trunk gutter piece off of that. So that way I don't have to make that. That's going to be more a pain in the ass. Oh, try and get this done tonight. See what happens. Okie dokie. Well, here's the one piece I needed to make additional. This is the little bracket that helps support the corner, because that's a weak point where the sail panel meets the top of the quarter panel. So they have this little brace here that you can see what's left of this one. Wow, it's all rotted. It's just not worth saving. So I just made another one real quick. Reason how you make this is you well, I don't have a sheet metal brake, so I just used a vise. It's the exact same length, 1.25 inches end to end, and I gave myself a 1/2 inch lip so that way I can put it in the shrinker stretcher. You can see I got a little, see this one, it was to stretch this one. So by stretching the outer metal, it put that bend in it. And then this one here, you can see I needed to shrink the metal to make it come back the other direction. Same thing on the other side. So this went in the shrinker stretcher. Once I had it in basically a C channel, throw it in the shrinker stretcher, and that's what creates the S shape to copy what we have there. Ka-chow. Alright, let me actually show you where this piece goes right here, actually on the car. You like to excuse that, that's all kind of booger welded on there because some kept blowing holes in some spots. So basically just keep adding more weld until it stops blowing holes. This piece here is going to go up behind this, and it will get spot welded behind that piece I made to strengthen this corner right here, because this is a typical spot where it'll crack. So that's why they made this. now you know. Some more useless information that you did not know. All patched up. That side's good to go now. So the only piece of this that's actually original, or actually it's not even original to this car, it's cut out of another car, is about from here to here. This section here was cut out of another car. All the rest of this crap was all handmade, as you saw. So now I can finally put the rear window filler panel on and start welding this sucker all up. No more patching. Done. I realized I kind of started jumping the gun on you guys. I started welding the rear window filler panel in without filming anything. I'm notorious for that. So, but luckily this is all I had got done. That, and then I welded the flange inside the rear window filler panel. I usually like to start here and then work my way forward, especially getting this flush, because you want to make sure that's good before you really go any farther. As you see, I got a bazillion clamps. Well, actually, there was more clamps. I had to take some off. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on this side, and then I'll work my way all the way around. And then I need to put the plenum underneath, put my brackets in the trunk, and then call this thing done. Oh, dang it, no, I forgot. I gotta paint this thing too. Well, let me get some highlights of welding. That's a crappy thing about using galvanized weld-through primer. It pops and farts when you first start welding. It sucks. I ran out of the copper paint, so I had to just use the galvanized, the left, to finish it off. The copper, watch, the copper paint will show up in the mail today. But I just wanted to get this all done. So in the meantime, I have to deal with the popping and farting and splattering and all that other happy crap. See, before I clamp this down, I don't know if you can or not, but I'm getting a gap right here. So I need to clamp that gap, actually right there. I need to clamp that gap before I can really clamp this down. It spreads it apart. And this is more important than this. So I'm gonna go and clamp that right there. I have it clamped up front. I just don't have any in the back. Galvanized sucks. Sometimes it makes the metal bubble up. As the metal is cooling, sometimes it'll just create a bubble right at the top of the weld. It's like galvanized sucks ass. Don't ever use it. See, on this hole right here, I accidentally drilled all the way through it. So, put a piece of copper underneath there. That way I can use it as a backing and weld it up. Actually, you know what? Let's smash it down a little bit. Perfect. I had to use the copper as a backing to allow me to fill it in, puddle it in. All right, now I can get back over here. All right, so now that side is all done. You can see how the galvanized weld through primer makes the weld act funny. It creates a little, it gasses up and creates a little bubble at the top of the weld. So that's why galvanized sucks. But that's what I had, so we're gonna use it. All right, let me get over here and do this guy. Yeah, I had to galvanize this whole piece too. You can tell it pops and farts and shit when it first starts welding. And then basically once it burns all the galvanized off, it welds okay. Alright, the last big panel. This is the plenum that goes underneath the rear window filler panel Alright, so it's already drilled, ready to start plug welding. What I need to do is lay a bead of seam sealer here, so that way it'll bond to the bottom side of the rear window filler panel, just to keep that from flapping or vibrating. So, got this seam sealer right here. Gonna put a big old fat tall bead there, another one right here, and clamp this sucker in place and start burning this thing in. Playtime's over. I just got back from racing. I already have a video of that up. You guys can see that. Well, actually, you know what? This car is called Patches because it's had to patch everything on this car. And speaking of patches, gee, had to make another one. And what I have done here is I had to make a whole new patch piece here. Not because that was damaged, but because when I cut this off and tried to straighten this area out, there was nothing to freaking straighten out. It was just so, the metal was so thin, it was basically the paint that was holding the thing on. Actually, I got the piece. I just seen it. Oh, here it is. Haha, see, it's right here. I pushed that hole in with my finger. That's all junk back there. There was no straightening that piece out because it's just way too thin. There's nothing to straighten. Oh, great. Is it gonna freaking rain? Oh, I hate you, weather. Well, let me see how far I can get with this thing real quick, because I need to weld this guy on here. So, yes, hi, Sam. Sammy just wants some love, huh? Sammy always wants attention. Well, I'm gonna get back on this. It's starting to sprinkle. We got some dark clouds coming this way, which usually means thunder. Sammy is afraid of thunder. We had a couple little thunders and she'll hide under my legs. But one nice thing about making this patch piece from scratch, I can make it fit correctly. So stick that sucker on up there and Ooh, look at that. Ain't that nice? Oh yeah. Ooh, big thunder. Hey, look, Sammy heard that one. You scared, Sam? All right, Sam, I gotta work. Sam, I gotta work. Oh crap, now we got two. This may take a while. Well, hello again. So I tried, got a little stuff on screen there. Oh no, that's welding splatter, never mind. So hopefully it won't affect the image. But yeah, I tried to kind of let you guys know what's going on with this car yesterday, but then it started to rain because the clouds were coming this way. So I had to put up a little canopy here just to keep this car from getting flash rusted. But I don't know where I left off, but I'm gonna go ahead and start right here. So I had to fix, or this corner here was smashed in, just flat. And what that did is it damaged this area here, smashed that in, and it was also smashed in around the backup light. And then when it got hit here, it wrinkled all this, and then it got smashed here. This was all caved in. It had a huge indent right here. It was all caved in. And what I did to fix that is I stuck a, I should have videoed this when I did it, but see this bar right here? There's square stock. I stuck a piece of wood on the wheelhouse there, and we stuck a porta power from here over to the quarter panel, and I had a piece of round stock tubing on the end of the porta power right on that body line right here. So what it did is it pushed the car out on the body line. Then I just kind of took a rubber mallet and hit around the dent, and what it did is it just kind of got rid of it. Look at that. Looks pretty good now. That is so passable. Then this was kind of the pain in the ass part here, because you can't really get to this area that well because the tail light. So what I had to do is I just drilled a little hole right here, and I used a punch to kind of push this whole area out, and then with some hammer dollies and some other stuff, and I had to hammer it. This was all pushed out, this was pushed in. Just long story short, got it all straightened out with some hammers and dollies. And then everything behind here was just rotted, so I had to replace, or I had to patch in a piece of a trunk extension that I made. Same thing down here, I had to patch it all in. And then the lower quarter panel right here was just rotted junk. I'll show you a picture of that. But I tried to hammer it out, straighten it, and the hammer just went right through the metal, and my finger went through it, and metal was way too thin down here to do any kind of shaping. So I had to make that. And then I cut this section off right here. You can see the cut line that I welded back on. I cut this out because trying to dent pull and stud weld and all that crap, that's just stupid. So best way that I thought to fix it was to cut it out, hammer dolly the whole thing out, so that way it's nice and straight, and it's, you know, flat. There's no dents or dings or any of that stuff from the stud puller. So this will take very minimal filler. I mean, we're talking thousands to fix all that. And as you can see, actually, let me see what you're seeing. There you go. As you can see, it fits really good. The light's kind of blocking the visibility of it. Oh, there we go. It all fits good. So yep, handmade this, straighten that out, and then we're getting ready to weld this on. So this is already welded to this, like it is factory. And then what happens is you slide this under the rear valence, and I drilled holes in the rear cross brace. So then this will get welded just like factory from the inside. Right now, what I'm going to be doing is welding up this body line, or welding up my cut line, which I need to do a little bit more trimming. It's kind of overlapping right there, which is normal. I mean, when you kind of test fit, you know, anyway, I just got to do a slight bit more trimming right there, and then it'll be perfectly flush, and I can weld that whole thing up. Got that? All right. So that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Hopefully the wind doesn't kick up today, and that will make it a bitch to weld. Well, one more patch is done on patches. Lots and lots of patches. Well, we got this all buttoned up, ground down, ready for just a skim coat of filler. Going to seam seal this edge here, and it'll be good to go. And then we can blend in some paint. Turned out pretty good, huh? Not too bad. All right, now the next thing that he has asked me to address is this dent here and this dent here. I think the best way I'm going to be able to tackle that is just by pulling the fender off. And then I'll probably just cut this area out of it. Oh, and weld it, hammer dolly it out and weld it back in. That seems to be about the easiest way to fix that one. Yeah, it's about the easiest way to fix that thing. It's pretty hammered. Smushed it. Well, I gotta go pick up Walter here in a little bit so me and him can start pounding out some metal. All right, next. Oh, just another day here in Vegas. Well, if you notice, this patches is missing a hell of a patch right now. We got the fender off, which on this car is a little bit more of a pain in the ass because you got this rocker molding to deal with. Kind of a, not a super rare option, but not all too common. Anyway, when you're taking one of these cars apart, the best thing you can have is heat. You need one of those little propane torches, because you can spray WD-40, you can spray all that rust crap or whatever else kind of liquid you want to spray on it. Nothing works like heat. You just heat that bolt up, or heat the threads up from the backside, and poof, it'll come right out. I've tried all that crap. Heat works the best. Anyway, now that we got that off, let's go ahead and show you the fender here. I'm pretty sure I did a video showing how foobarred the fender was. And this is the best way to fix it, I have found, is you drill out the whole headlight pocket or the inner bracket that helps support the fender, and actually it supports the grill. So you drill that out. I just use a spot weld cutter. You can see that you can actually see the remnants of the spot weld cutter. So this way you can get the dolly on one end and you can get the hammer on the other, and you just work it and work it and work it until it's all straight. You can work both sides. That's the best way to do it. I don't like using all that stud, slide, hammer, puller crap, because it stretches the metal in just small areas instead of big areas just pushing it out with a hammer and dolly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start and commence to pounding the hell out of this sucker and straighten it out. All right, I got this corner all dollied out. As you can see, actually I don't know if you can or not, but that is tits compared to what it was. Oh, looks so good now. And all that was just hammer and dolly work. So that's right here is pretty much what I used. You just beat on one side, then you switch over and beat on the other side. Make sure you put a dolly behind it, and voila, you can return it back to the original shape. Plus, the metal does, let this fart can go by. The metal does have memory, so it will somewhat go back to what it was shaped like. So, oh yeah, it looks so much better. Plus we got Steve Miller Band in the background. See, what I need to do now is weld up that little hole right there, and then I'll grind it all out. Okie dokie. Fender's all straightened out. Now we need to weld the grill support and the fender support back in. Actually, see, we're going to line it up to the original holes. That's lining up to the original spot that I cut weld. Original. Same thing here. That's all the original spots. Very close, and it's dead on here, but you can tell here it's off because this is where it had gotten hit and it smashed it in. Well, I don't really need to worry about straightening out this whole area because there's nothing there that's important. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to weld it where it's at. I'll just MIG weld it on the outside, and then I'll just fill the holes in. Not a big deal. Well, welder's on. Get to MIGging.